Imagine business software with the power to predict future spend. It's here. Resource Risk Control introduced Asset-GenZ, the world's first asset management software that predicts and links asset life, level of service, business risk, and more. Asset-GenZ ensures value for money from assets and maximizes return on investment. It's also scalable and accessible worldwide. Asset-GenZ. Measure it, manage it, know the future. Email info@assetgenz.com.au.
Want to introduce Jeff to Asset-GenZ and explain what he does within Asset-GenZ.
Thanks, Mel. My role within Asset-GenZ is to provide the necessary data support for the development and ongoing improvements to the Asset-GenZ database, which of course, as we know, Mel, aligns us to the ISO 55000 suite and enables an organisation to align and be far more efficient and improve its position in the world as far as world's best practice is concerned.
From being an end user and a manager within the maintenance regime and finance and project team, and having major projects and seeing expenditure where it's not delivering return on investment, yes. I totally agree.
And it's that issue that Asset-GenZ can stop dead in its tracks. Where should we spend our money? And that is made very, very clear by Asset-GenZ. It doesn't have friends. It doesn't squeak louder than the supervisor next door or the superintendent or the manager. It doesn't yell louder. It just gives you clear, hard facts on what is at risk, what has been in service too long, what is in good condition, where exactly do I need to spend my money, if any at all.
So are you telling me, Jeff, if I invest my money in the program, you're going to give me return on investment?
Absolutely. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And let's be realistic. You'll never stop spending money. That's going to happen because you've got a business and equipment is working and it will wear out and it has a life. You know, you can't mask that. That's going to happen. That is inevitable. But what this will do is it will enable you to spend the money exactly where it has to be spent and absolutely nowhere else, and give you the transparency and above all the confidence with that transparency to be able to look at those assets and say, I know that I have to spend money there and I know that I don't need to spend money on these other assets. And that is where you'll get your return on investment on the stuff that you don't have to spend on, purely because at one stage in the life of the business, somebody said, well, we need to spend money on it, without it being actually able to be quantified. With Asset-GenZ, that can be quantified.
So, in my experience, Jeff, I've been through that as a maintenance manager, and I've been trying to quantify one asset and then 1,000 assets, and I can use an example. 1,000 switchboards need replacing. How does the product quantify or make that clear on where you need expenditure and where you best use the money to maximise return on investment and reduce risk?
That's the great thing about Asset-GenZ, and because you can put a risk value against the asset and against its identification from the technical object structure that you already have in your system, that most companies already have. A good company that's already following world's best maintenance practice and doing planning will already have a technical object structure, and that can be exported or directly linked to Asset-GenZ. So now you have the same piece of information tied from Asset-GenZ across to your computer maintenance management system or ERP. So you've now got that direct link and that identification associated. Once you've got that, you can then risk rank all of those switchboards in that particular case. And it may turn out that you've perhaps 30% of those 1,000 are actually in a really low risk area. And because you've got the luxury of having a condition assessment with Asset-GenZ as well, that 30% might actually show up as being in good condition and still having significant life that you don't need to spend that money, certainly not in the short term.
So thank you, Jeff. I really appreciate what you've said. Very passionate, and I know where Asset-GenZ is going. AGZ. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, Mel.
Imagine business software with the power to predict future spend. It's here. Resource Risk Control introduced Asset-GenZ, the world's first asset management software that predicts and links asset life, level of service, business risk, and more. Asset-GenZ ensures value for money from assets and maximizes return on investment. It's also scalable and accessible worldwide. Asset-GenZ. Measure it, manage it, know the future. Email info@assetgenz.com.au.